All right. Good morning. Welcome to another Friday morning safety meeting. Today is the 15th of May, which is Scott Pigeon's birthday. So make sure to wish him a happy birthday. We're 21 days without a recordable injury, 21 days without a first aid injury, and 7 days without an at-fault vehicle incident. Today we're going to talk about ladder safety. So anytime we're using any ladder, we always want to ensure the ladder is fully and properly set up. So any parts that could lock in, we want to make sure that they are locked in before we do anything. Always keep your belly button inside the gauge of the ladder. And when I say the gauge of the ladder, think of the side rails of the ladder as being railroad tracks. And as long as you're inside the gauge of the railroad tracks, you don't need to be harnessed in, right? So think about it the same way with a ladder. Always keep your belly, only use on even ground unless it's designed to be used on uneven ground. So some of them have levelers, especially the little giants and stuff. A lot of them have levelers that you can use them on uneven ground. Just make sure they lock in all the way. You always want to face towards the ladder. You want to maintain 3 points of contact, so 2 arms, 1 leg, or 2 legs, 1 arm. You always want to foot the ladder for each other. So if you can hold it or tie it off, that's the way we need to do it. And then we always want to have kind of the consideration of ladders last. So especially when you're working in anywhere like Global or anything like that, they prefer that we use anything but ladders. But for us, obviously that's unavoidable. But if we can use a man lift or something to that effect, it's going to be a lot safer than using ladders. Before we throw a ladder, we always want to look for overhead hazards. So any power lines especially. Want to read all the labels, make sure that they're intact, and you want to inspect the ladder for any damage. So here we have some pictures of some people doing some pretty crazy things, but then on the right we have somebody doing the right thing, which is to use a leveler for a ladder. So you can see that this ladder actually looks pretty steep. The best way to gauge it for the proper climbing angle is that you stand on the bottom rung and then you hold your hands right out in front of you and grab a rung. And if your arms are out straight, then it's at the proper angle. So we have a lot of people misusing step ladders. Those are the most common ones that we see misused. If you need a straight ladder, just use a straight ladder. So with any extension ladders, we always want to ensure that the dogs, which are what lock, are serviceable and in a locked position. More and more of them are plastic these days, and we were trying to avoid that for a long time, but it became impossible. So just make sure that they're serviceable and they're not cracked, especially if it's cold out. You want to tie the halyard to the base section of the ladder using a clove hitch. So the halyard's the rope that goes with it. You want to extend it 5 rungs past the top of any object you're climbing onto. You want to ensure the climbing angle is adequate, which, like I said, step on the bottom rung, arms right out in front of you, and grab a rung. And you want to ensure that the fly is pointing out. So the fly is the part that goes up. Some ladders have more than one. So with step ladders, you never want to climb past the advised last step. There will be a sticker for that. You never want to walk the ladder to get to where you're going. You want to climb down, move the ladder, and then climb back up. Only use them for their intended purposes, which is fairly narrow, and leaning them up against stuff is a no-go. So like I said, just ask for the right ladder if you need it. And once we get into specialty ladders like Little Giants and stuff like that, we always want to ensure that all the pins are locked in place. You want to watch your fingers and toes while raising and lowering the ladder. Never climb past the advised last step for the application you're using it for, and assess the ladder for the safest way to climb it. It's cheaper to buy one of these than it is to buy 2 standard ladders of any type. So if you need to use something, and you don't know what it's going to be for, then consider getting yourself a multi-use ladder. It can save us a lot of headaches when it comes to VOSHA and stuff like that. It's also safer in a lot of cases, and if you're going to be buying 2 ladders anyway for 2 different uses, it's cheaper. So,
Tom, I got a quiz question for you.
what do you got?
The fiscal year of 2025, the third most cited standard was
I'm guessing ladders.
ladders. Why? Misuse on ladders. So we got to make sure we're using the right ladder for the job, and we're doing exactly what Tom just kind of put us through, so we don't get unnecessary violations by Mr. VOSHA.
Yeah, it's low hanging fruit for them because it's observable to a point where all they got to do is take a picture and it's a no brainer to be able to cite you for, right?
Exactly. Exactly. Thanks, Tom. Very informative. Let's work safe on ladders, gentlemen
Yep.
and ladies.
Don't do
One
the
of those
Chevy.
things everybody knows the right thing to do, but we just got to do it. Go get the right ladder.
Yeah. Set the priorities in order.
Don't do the Chevy Chase if you ever seen that Christmas Vacation movie.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Let me just get this. I got to move my screens again. Hold on. Please hold. Oh, where'd it go? Hold on. Did it work? Do you see the right thing?
No, not yet.
Hold on. I'll try again. Having a hard time with this thing this morning.
There
It
you
should
go.
work now. Okay, sorry about the delay. Okay. Didn't know if you guys noticed, but I did put our newer team photo from our kickoff on the top of our email. I think I might have mentioned it a couple weeks ago. And Elaine kind of brightened it up a little bit. It was a little bit dark. Ladder safety, good thing to think about. And that ties into our code of conduct item of the week is work to OSHA, VOSHA, FRA, and ECI safety standards. Try to work within the limits of the specifications that we have and do our best to hold safety as the highest priority. So this is the one this week I don't want you to take the wrong way. Acting with urgency is about treating your responsibilities and executing your duties with the appropriate sense of urgency, not as an emergency. And I don't want people to become reckless. When you read this one, that's why there's another thing in here after this to balance it out. But acting with urgency is an important thing, especially when we're working with others. Nothing kind of ticks us off more when we're working with someone else and we ask them if they can get something done, and they go, "Yeah, I'll get to it." And they sip their coffee. It kind of ticks us off a little bit. We want people to get things done in an appropriate amount of time, and we want to be productive. So having a sense of urgency means recognizing what matters most and taking action without unnecessary delay. It's about staying focused, being responsive, and following through with intention. Remember last week we talked about do it on purpose. Well, this is one of the things we want to do on purpose. We want to get things done. It improves our performance and it drives efficiency. It allows us to keep our work on track, owning our responsibilities and completing things on time. It contributes to all of our success, and especially being in employee-owned company, it really adds to the bottom line, and it adds to the retirement that we have, that we're building. So focus on the priorities that move the work forward, respond quickly, communicate clearly, and take full ownership of your responsibilities. Use thoughtful and timely action because it keeps us motivated, positive, and productive. It also builds trust with your other workers, teammates. When we can depend on people who follow through, it allows us to trust them, and we see them as a good partner and a good fellow worker. So it's going to build confidence in each other. So as employee owners, we each play a role in creating accountability and momentum. When we work with purpose and urgency, we support our mission, we improve collaboration, which is working together, and we help each other to succeed. So keep things moving, but don't be reckless. Okay. I want to balance it with this one. Equipment use and care. We're just getting going. I'm going to kind of read this one through. I might paraphrase a little bit, but this is an important one. Taking care of our equipment. What's our Matt Orzalak? What's our most prized resource at ECI? It's us, right?
People,
What's this?
yeah, our
What's
people,
the second one?
the equipment.
Our equipment costs a lot of money. Taking care of our equipment, it's all of our responsibility. And there are times when we need to work our equipment hard, and sometimes we work it to the limit. But the equipment that we have, we've done a lot of work on it this winter, preparing it and getting it ready for the season. The equipment has the capability to destroy itself if operated improperly. Sometimes the old equipment, you could push the lever all the way in the old days, and it was limited in its capabilities and strength, and you could always destroy it. But the equipment that we have nowadays, we have some good high performance stuff, and if we use it improperly and we abuse it, it's gonna put it out of service pretty quick, and it's gonna cost us a lot of money. Blowing up one excavator can blow the profit on a job. If something feels wrong, or it feels like we're pushing it too far, just stop, think about it yourself. But if you see others doing it, you got to speak up respectfully, following all the other things we talk about, but take a minute to rethink the plan. There might be a better tool, or there's probably a better method where we're not destroying our stuff. Incidents involving equipment damage do happen, and we've had some this week. Many times after it's all said and done, we realized that it was within our control to do something a little bit different, which goes to the plan, which goes to what Matt Orslak is always telling us about the hierarchy of controls, is working the risk out of our job by our planning and how we execute things. So we need to help each other by communicating and paying attention, and also not tolerating turning use into abuse. It's a fine line, but we all can do it, because when we do our job professionally, we can do it without destroying our equipment. We got to care about it. We got to tend to it and take care of it, because it's one of the most expensive things that we have out there as one of our tools, and also our second biggest asset besides ourselves. So just remember this: don't turn use into abuse.
Hey, Ben.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, I got something for you. This week we had an issue with a bucket lock on our 380, and it ended up being a problem with it was a problem with the bucket coming off. It proved to be nothing major. It was just missing a spring on a secondary lock. But hearing Brad tell me about this made me think this could be a good reminder to check all locks, pins, springs, and connections, especially on tilting buckets. It's a lot easier and we have a lot less downtime if we catch stuff before total failure. We've been going hard for a few weeks now, and we're going to go hard for many more. So, just give us a call if you see something, and we'll get it fixed.
Thank you, Chico. And that's the thing. I'm sure that you guys in the shop have already seen a few things come back already. And I know everyone's working hard getting everything going, but that taking care of our equipment at this point is very important. You've probably already seen some damage in the last couple of weeks, and we just got to ease into it. And we want to make sure that we're not overwhelming the shop with repairing things. And it's really, really frustrating when we look at it afterwards and something could have been avoided, right? Like Chico said, check those pins. And when we start rocking and rolling, things come loose. In the old days, we used to lose, we've lost pins in buckets before, and the buckets landed on one of our employees before, and that's a scary thing. So thank you, Chico. Any other thing out of the shop besides give us a call?
I got something.
Go for it.
Hey, so I just want to shout out to Randy Dow for, you went with his gut. He thought something was wrong on that 380, and he stepped up, made the call. Thank you, Randy.
Yeah, that's an important thing. So give us a call. This week is make the call, right? That's important. Thanks. Thank you, Mr. Dow.
And if you don't mind if I add something as well, just make sure that when we have things happen that we're reporting it in a timely fashion to either Matt, myself, the shop, whoever is the pertinent person. Because when we have to hunt these things down, it takes a lot of man hours and it's man hours that could be spent on other things that are much more productive. So
Yep. Make the alert call. The emergency's gone because it's already happened, but make the call so that and work with the people that are investigating. You know, we want to find out things in if it's our practices and the way we work, but also we want to involve the people in the shop to see if they can make improvements to things, because sometimes we make improvements when we deal with some of these things the right way. So thank you guys. Appreciate it. So we get I love it when we get these. So if anyone has a topic that you'd like to put together for the week, let me know, because it's nice to be able to have some content in here that some of you guys create. This was created by Nate Bellevue, and he's wrote us a little piece about lumber in the lumber yard. So I'll read it for Nate because he's in a group setting, and he told me I'd do a good job at it, so I won't try not to let him down. But this is from Nate. As you may know, we have all done a lot of work improving the yard. We've organized it and made it very professional looking. Let's keep it looking that way. A lot of lumber comes back to the yard as projects are completed and inventory piles up quickly. Keep it organized for the next crew. In the lumber yard, there's spray painted labeling, and it's on the Connex boxes on the trailers for what size lumber is to be put out there. You know, I went out there and I saw that it says 2x12s, long 2x12s, 2x10s. Everything else is labeled, and it's pretty obvious when you look at the piles where it goes. So there's a gated area. There's two areas. There's a gated area right here behind where we park for 98. It's in between the concrete yard. That fenced area that's got some gates on it, that has 2x12s and 2x10s. See a picture down below of that area. Actually, here's the pictures of that area right here. You'll see if you look in that yard, it's all organized and neat, and those are 2x10s and 2x12s. The other area is the drive-through lumber area, which is right here. That's the drive-through area, and you can see on the left and on the right, and just at the very bottom of the photo, there are different stacks of lumber. There's 2x4s, 2x6s, different sizes and lengths. All that lumber is recycled and reused, and it can be used on the next project. You can drive right through and put it where it goes. So please don't throw it in a pile. Please keep it organized. The concrete guys here have done a really great job at getting this organized. A lot of times the concrete guys are the ones that take the major responsibility for the lumber because they use probably the most of it. But when they work really hard at keeping this area neat and clean, and we come in and we just dump a pile of lumber in a pile in the middle of that drive-through area, they end up cleaning it up, and it just doesn't make them feel like we're a team when we do that. So once you're done with the lumber, organize it, put it in its designated location. The concrete division is not the only group responsible for organizing it. Like I said, everyone's a team, and that's from the words of Nate and the concrete guys. We are all a team. So if you have questions, talk to Nate or Ron or any of the concrete guys. They know where this stuff goes. They've been working on it. And Nate closes with his appreciation for everyone's hard work and communication, keeping the yard organized. It really looks good out there. If you guys had seen it 38 years ago when I came here, it would be unrecognizable. You wouldn't believe what was out there. This is really a good picture that shows the neat state that we put that yard in. And if you look out beyond, look at what the paving guys have done with their area. That's just beyond the Jersey barriers. It's real professional and neat looking.
Yeah,
So-
one thing, Ben, is also make sure people are pulling the nails and the screws out of the lumber before they just bring it back here. That would be helpful.
Yeah, remove nails and screws. I used to have a mini pail, one of those like a half-size pail with a cover on it. When we were in, we had it in the job trailer, and when we pulled nails, we always threw it in there so we didn't end up with them in our tires. So I'm sure the crib can get you one of those mini pails. Those mini pail, the smaller half-size 2.5 gallon pails are pretty handy to throw your nails in. I had to put a shout out for the shop again, because we start pulling nails, Ronnie, they end up coming back to the shop in tires sometimes. So thank you, Nate, for putting that together. Concrete guys, give Nate a pat on the back for putting that together. I think he did a good job, and I'll leave it to him to designate which one of you guys is going to do the next submission. Lake Champlain Dragon Boat Festival. We've heard about this. Sarah is involved in this every year. And we're trying to put a team together, and with 16 people, and it would be really cool if they were all ECI. So I ran this again just because I think they only have about 2 or 3 people right now to join. And if we could get 16 of them, then we'd have a full boat. So let Sarah know if you want to join that. All the details are here for the practice in July, and then the event in August. So new employees, we got quite a few. I see some of you guys are on. I see Colin, actually, I see that you're on. So welcome, Colin McPhillips. I got your emails on so that you could join the meeting today, you guys. We got Colin McPhillips. He's in the trenchless as a laborer. We got Troy Ducharme. Welcome, Troy, bridge worker. We've got Ryan Fisher. He's skilled labor and civil. Welcome, Ryan. Matt Merritt Pellegrino, bridge worker. And Matt Finnegan. He's here for the summer, intern in school. Good luck in school. You do go back so that you can come back next summer with more education, continue your education, but this is going to be valuable for you to be here with us this summer. I hope you enjoy it. And Nick Boomhauer, welcome, Nick. And we have a returnee. Cameron came back. So welcome back, Cameron. Good to see you back here. 7 people started this week, so it's kind of pretty cool. We're growing. I think we're over 220 now. So this week, instead of a specific project, we have some selected photos from various projects that we have going on right now. Here's some of the work up at 2A in Williston. Some of these photos they're sent in by some of the guys, and Matt and Tom. They some of these are from their visits. So it looks like we got some good work. We wanted to get some photos with people working, and they're properly directing that bucket and making sure we're not ripping something out of the ground. There's a couple of photos from that trencher, that wheel, the cutting wheel that they demoed the other day. I don't know if we still have that, you guys, but I know we're demoing it, and I know you guys got some good footage out there. So that's on a ditch, one of those Ditch Witch crawler chassis that you put the wheel on the front. It's got a lot of power. Looks like it was running pretty good. Here's Cavendish. A lot of us haven't seen Cavendish, so it's nice to see some photos of it. This is that rail bridge project replacing that center pier. And those guys have got a lot of steel down there. And they've been doing some amazing work. Look at the mini underneath the bridge. Pretty cool. And that's where our Tadano crane is, the new crane. On the left there, the blue one. That just so everyone knows, we paid for it last week. So it's now ours. And so one of the guys in the front office said, "Oh, you guys can put the labels on it." Well, we already did it. Good looking crane. And a good looking job down there in Cavendish. Hannaford's, Brandon. Here's a different one. This is a cool one. You know, you're like, what is this? It's a column. Well, Aaron Juar, we never really did brickwork before we had him, but that's pretty good looking column where they took, and I got these pictures from Ronnie. Pretty cool. We can actually redo a brick column with our own forces. Good job. Jay, there's that labor intensive work again. Looks like a little bit of a cool day, cool and wet, probably better for the dust. McNeil up on the spur, you know, the McNeil generating plant where they've got the tracks that run in and they take the wood chip trains. These guys are doing some maintenance work up there in the last couple of weeks. Down in Burlington. We got a few pictures from Parkway because we're back. I don't know if anyone's seen, but out back we got some of the Champlain Parkway signage out there, so it doesn't get we've got it here so it doesn't get all marked up with graffiti. St. Paul Street. So we got some good concrete work going down there. Good looking forms. Looks like the forms are properly cared for. And here's some work up at UVM. UVM and the living and learning, and look at the just the neat work that they're doing up there. What I call the industrial strength sidewalks with all the rebar, coated rebar at that. Some good pictures. Local, and then we've got Wallingford. Guys up at elevation there on the track, pretty cool. Good photos. And West Leb, this job's been moving. Some of us need to get down there. It's just these guys are kicking butt down there. And it's one of those jobs it's not local, so it's hard to it's nice to see some photos of what's going on down there. But get some good work happening everywhere. More West Leb. I think this was the last photo I got last night, which is pretty cool. It just looks professional. It looks neat, and it looks like they've made a big dent in that job. So we got the season going good. If you guys do have good photos of jobs, your leaders can actually drop them into a folder that we have on the shared drive for this year. And I like doing this once in a while. It took a little bit of work to get the photos in. Matt Orslak kind of gathered them up together, and we put them in last night. So I found, since we were talking about equipment, I wanted to show, I've shown a few of these before, but this is the 690. It's a John Deere 690 excavator. If you'll notice, the cab is on the other side of the machine from the cabs that you guys all run now. The cabs are all on the left, but I learned to run excavator on this machine, and I didn't realize that. I thought that all excavators, when you ran them, you could only drive them straight when you were moving them because the tracks came off. That was a worn out machine by the time I got here in '88, but here it is back in '79, and it looks old. That was a good machine, but that was our first real good size excavator that the company had. Worked a lot of years with it. It really screwed us up when we got the ones with the cabs on the other side, and we started trying to learn how to run those. Here's the one of the Fiat loaders that we had. We didn't have this one when I came here. This Fiat Alice. We had Fiat Alice equipment back in the day, and when I got here, we had a 545, but I think this one was the larger one that they had gotten rid of just before I came here. But Fiat Alice was pretty well-known name back in the 70s and 80s, and that's what we had. We had the Fiat Alice loader. We had the 21C Fiat Alice dozer, which was a nice dozer. And then for many years after that, we had the, some of you guys might remember the 8B, which was a little smaller than a 550 or about the same weight. But that's the 21C Fiat Alice. Pretty cool. So taking care of the equipment, it's been something that we've done for many years here. Those are good looking machines. They got the old ECI logos, which was just a bumper sticker back then. Engineers Construction signage used to be kind of like a bumper sticker, and they all said South Burlington, Vermont. The reason that Alan put South Burlington, Vermont, because he said, who knows where Williston is? So he got a post office box in South Burlington, Vermont, and that's where we said we came from, even though we were in Williston. So that's all I got. Turn it back over to Matt. 7 o'clock. On the dot. If you're watching a group setting, please send that over. We appreciate that. And then let's work safe. Let's work together. Let's have a great one today. Don't be reckless. Thank you. But be productive. There's a line there, right? Yeah.